There is a place
like no other.
A place of learning,
of self-discovery,
Of wonder.
a place of refuge,
of support,
Of community.
where everyone is welcome.
Donde todos están bienvenidos.
A place that reaches beyond buildings.
Inspiring curiosity,
igniting meaningful connections.
and setting dreams and futures in motion.
It's a place beyond words.
Hartford Public Library.
A place like no other.
The first time I ever came to Hartford Public Library was for the Baby Grand Jazz series to see my uncle, Emery Austin Smith. And the last time I was here was for the Baby Grand Jazz series, doing my own tribute to Nat King Cole. And I gotta say, it's always great to be back here at this library. Smile though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your fears and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see that sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness and hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. If you just smile. If you just smile. Smile. Light up your face with gladness and hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. If you just smile. If you just smile.
Thank you, Oris. That was a beautiful performance.
My pleasure.
Welcome to Beyond Words 2020. Thank you for joining us for this very special event. Hartford Public Library goes beyond words every day to connect people to each other, to information, and to our community. We are a library truly like no other, and you'll soon see why. During the next 30 minutes, we invite you to join our staff, volunteers, and customers of the Hartford Public Library as they give voice to perseverance, resiliency, and creativity in these very challenging times. Hartford Public Library is open and serving our community. We're finding new ways to connect and deliver services and need your support to continue creating opportunities for education, literacy, careers, culture, and civic engagement for people in our community. Please consider making a donation either by texting BW2020 to 860-222-7726 or visit our website, hplbeyondwords.com. I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Travelers, for their very generous support of this event and of the library. A complete list of our sponsors is on our website, and thank you to all who have made Beyond Words 2020 possible. We're thrilled that Wally Lamb is our Beyond Words 2020 honorary chair. We're so fortunate to have him back with us again this year. And we're going to hear from several of your favorite authors, including Jean Kwok, Christina Baker Kline, Julia Alvarez, and Amity Gaige. I want to thank co-chairs Beth Papermaster and Kate D'Italia, who have worked tirelessly to make sure Beyond Words 2020 transitioned from an in-person event to a virtual event. And thanks to the entire Beyond Words committee for their support and help. A shout out to our amazing board of directors and to the entire Hartford Public Library staff. They are the real reason Hartford Public Library is a place like no other. And of course to the team who worked on Beyond Words 2020 behind the scenes. That's it from me. I hope you enjoy our show. You'll want to stay for the entire time, it's only about a half an hour, for a message from a very special guest, the legendary Norman Lear. Hi, Wally.
Hey, Bridget.
We're so happy that you're back with us for Beyond Words 2020.
Thank you.
Wally Lamb is a great friend of Hartford Public Library and was the featured author at our very first Beyond Words event in 2016. Now, Wally, given today's incredibly stressful times, besides your books, do you have one or two titles or some authors you can recommend to people that are looking for something to read that might help them through a difficult time or address the topic of mental health?
Yeah, I had an advance on this question, and it sent me to my bookshelves, and I brought along a couple of them. So this is Sharp. It's a memoir by David Fitzpatrick. He's a Middletown, Connecticut author, and he writes a memoir about his really harrowing mental illness that he eventually conquers. This book is not for the faint of heart, but I highly recommend it. I would also recommend On Earth, We're Briefly Gorgeous. It's an autobiographical novel by an immigrant from Vietnam, Ocean Vuong. And he's dealing with not only his immigrant experience, but a mother whose life has made her very angry and abusive. Part of the novel is set in the tobacco fields of Hartford, Connecticut. And finally, for those people who like graphic novels, I would recommend Sabrina. The author is, and artist is Nick Dernasso. And in this story, a young man who has a girlfriend has to deal with her sudden absence. Has she been abducted? Is she safe? Is she dead? And it launches him into a really serious depression that he then has to climb out of. So those are just three of many, many that I could recommend.
Thanks, Wally. That was really great. And now, let's get on with our show.
Good evening. This is Governor Ned Lamont. I want to give a shout out to our libraries, which have been such a place of community respite during this horrible COVID time. In particular, the Hartford Public Library. What You Mean for People is a place to go. It's more than books. It's also Wi-Fi. It's job centers. Our libraries are so important. The volunteers supporting the Hartford Public Library, a shout out to you. Thanks for what you're doing.
A #1 New York Times bestselling author of 8 novels. Joining us next is Christina Baker Kline. Christina is an avid supporter of libraries, including the Jessup Bar Harbor Memorial Library, the Southwest Harbor Public Library in Maine, and of the organization Island Readers and Writers, which brings book-based educational programs to thousands of children living in remote communities throughout the state of Maine and its coastal islands.
I want to tell you a little bit about what libraries mean to me. I'm descended from a long line of teachers on one side and mill workers on the other. For my mother, going to the library was as routine as going to church in her small North Carolina town. For my father, the first in his North Georgia family to attend university, stepping into a library for the first time as a college student, the first time, was a magic carpet ride to a world of wonder. As it had for my father, the library became a portal to a world beyond my imagining. Wherever my curiosity took me, I could find a book to satisfy it. Just as often, the opposite was true. I'd stumble on a story, a topic, a world I knew nothing about that led me in a direction I didn't anticipate. In the library, I learned to be guided by instinct, not certainty, to be open to ideas, to allow myself to be surprised. I learned that peace, quiet, and contemplation are all you need to let your imagination unfold. These early lessons have served me well as a writer. As I did when I was a child, I relish tracking down obscure or little-known stories and exploring my obsessions, guided only by a willingness to allow one thing to lead to the next. It's both gratifying and perhaps not surprising that my own children have enthusiastically embraced their family legacy. "Gotta go, Mom," my son Eli, a college junior, said at the end of our phone call last night. "Just stepped into the quiet room of the library. It's a no-phone zone, you know?" I know, I think. Good luck on your own magic carpet ride.
Community outreach is one of the most important things here at the Hartford Public Library. And during the pandemic, it has been really challenging to stay connected to our well-loved community. So we started thinking of different ways to do that. And that is how La Bodeguita and I were able to connect. So I reached out to Xiaomi via social media, and I offered books to her from the library. I thought it would be a wonderful way to provide some kind of support to the families in need.
Esta donación a través de Graciela, que ayudamos a casi 50 familias, fue muy importante para la bodeguita de la gente, ya que muchas mamitas, después de haber recibido esta donación de libros, nos contactaron otra vez pidiéndonos más libros porque se les fue muy útil para ellos, ya que los niños ya no podían ir a las escuelas, muchos niños no podían ni siquiera acceder al internet, ya que las familias quedaron sin trabajo. Entonces,
most of the families that we have don't speak English, right? And most of the books that we got were actually in English too. So the kids were actually going and reading to their moms. So it was kind of like a combined thing right there, right? We gave things for the kids to do, and the kids were actually helping their moms.
Este gran proyecto que se unió a través de Graciela y de la biblioteca nos ha ayudado bastante porque muchas mamitas están aprendiendo al menos el inglés básico a través de los niños. Entonces yo como madre también me siento muy emocionada porque mi niño también se quedó en casa. Fue una gran ayuda para nosotros, ya que no sabemos el inglés como yo, por ejemplo. Entonces estos libros nos han ayudado bastante, ¿no? Para este proyecto.
We want to continue to be able to do this as best we can. And, who knows what can come of it. There's many programming opportunities that are available to us if we have the support so that we can continue giving.
Joining us from the Netherlands to share her library story is international best-selling author Jean Kwok. Inspired by deeply personal life events, her 3 novels, Girl in Translation, Mambo in Chinatown, and her latest novel, this one, Searching for Sylvie Lee, an instant New York Times bestseller, gives us a poignant window into the American immigrant experience.
Hi, I'm Jean Kwok, and today I'd like to talk to you about libraries and what they've meant to me in my life. I'm a first-generation Chinese immigrant, and we moved from Hong Kong to Brooklyn, New York when I was 5 years old. We wound up living in the slums of Brooklyn, and in an unheated apartment that was completely overrun with roaches and with rats. To make things even worse, my family started working in a clothing factory in Chinatown, and I went along with them to help, even though I started when I was only 5. I spent most of my childhood living in that apartment and working at the factory. So maybe you can imagine what my public library meant to me at that time in my life, because it was truly a refuge. Not just a refuge in the sense of intellectually, which I think many people find that, but it was also a physical refuge. It was a place where I could go and be warm and be in a clean environment, a safe environment, filled with lovely librarians who I love to this day. And I'm really quite sure that I would not have become the person I am today. And I definitely would not have become a writer if there had not been a public library.
Welcome, Joyce. You and your family have been generous supporters of the library over the last few years. What is it about HPL that inspires you?
The library offers so much for young people. It's a welcoming place for them after school, somewhere to do their homework, but also to explore new ideas and experiences. I'm proud to be able to assist Hartford Public Library to make resources and spaces available for Hartford's young people. And I'd like to encourage everyone to join me and my family in funding the mission of Hartford Public Library by making a contribution.
Thank you again, Joyce, for all that you do for the Hartford Public Library.
And thank you, Greg, for introducing me to the Hartford Public Library and for your friendship all these years. Love you.
Love you too.
We're thrilled to have the acclaimed Julia Alvarez joining us to tell her story. She is the author of international best-selling novels, How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accents, In the Time of the Butterflies, Yo, In the Name of Salome, Saving the World, and Afterlife, of poetry collections of 3 nonfiction works and numerous books for young readers. In 2013, President Obama awarded Julia the National Medal of Arts.
I'm very grateful that the city of Hartford, Connecticut, has chosen In the Time of the Butterflies for this year's Big Read program. I know for a fact that there are many Dominicanos in Hartford, so a big shout out to all of you. Hola, paisanos. This novel, In the Time of the Butterflies, is based on the true story of 4 sisters, the Mirabal sisters, code-named Mariposas, in the Dominican Republic, who inspired the country to free itself from a 31-year dictatorship. Their story continues to inspire women and men around the world. These are very challenging and difficult times. Many of us are feeling desolate, isolated, and alone. It's why the Big Read program is even more important now. We join with others to share a story and therefore feel less alone. May you feel accompanied and inspired by the story of these remarkable freedom fighters, the Mirabal sisters. Thank you and gracias. Stay safe, and we'll be back together in the spring.
My name is Kelly. I was born in Ethiopia, later moved to Uganda. I came to the United States at the age of 16 years old through the official UN refugee program. I found out about the after-school English program at the Hartford Library through a friend, which was really great because it helped me with my school homework and college prep. Being part of the program made me feel at home, and it made me feel comfortable because I was surrounded by kids that had the same experience as I did. While I was at the Summer Nexus program at Trinity College, I loved it there, and Miss Brophy from the Hartford Public Library said, "This might be your school." Even though I'm at college, I'm still connected with the staff at the library and also the kids from the program. Hartford Public Library is truly a special place of giving and caring.
Hello, I'm Joe Gianni, Greater Hartford Market President for Bank of America. It's a pleasure to be here at Hartford Public Library's Digital Library Lab. The Digital Library Lab is a new social enterprise venture which speaks to Hartford Public Library's commitment to the community, to innovation, and to education. In 2019, Hartford Public Library received Bank of America's Neighborhood Builder Award, which recognizes the library as a nonprofit leader willing to tackle tough issues. Giving to the library is an investment in our collective future. That's why I'm encouraging you today to support Hartford Public Library's 2020 Beyond Words campaign. We are thankful for Hartford Public Library and the national example it sets to foster economic mobility, adult education, youth engagement, and workforce readiness. Please join me and support Hartford Public Library's Beyond Words campaign and put your dollars to work in our community. Thanks for your consideration. Continue to be safe and stay healthy.
My name is Elena. I was born in Hartford, Connecticut. As a historian of American history, it is important for me to make it clear that the history of Puerto Rico between 1898 and currently today, we cannot separate that history from the history of the U.S. Another thing is that what people often forget is that there's a history of Puerto Ricans in the U.S. And that history doesn't get told. And for me, that history was right in my backyard. And so it was in 2018 when I first visited the Hartford History Center, and I realized that they had so much material that it was really a disservice to not write a dissertation on Puerto Ricans, and particularly on Puerto Ricans in Hartford, when we have so much rich material both out there and in here to uncover that has not been talked about. I've been very fortunate that since I came in the doors in 2018, they've been extremely helpful with pointing me to material, but also helping support me as a scholar and encouraging me, and maybe a little bit of intimidation by telling me that my dissertation will be housed in here. But it's the right amount of encouragement that I need, and so it really is a great space, and I would encourage anyone wanting to know more about the history of Hartford to come here, whether that is the history of the Dutch colony of Connecticut or whether you want to talk about the 1990s in Connecticut. All of that material is here.
It's so great to have a local West Hartford resident, author Amity Gaige, here with us to share her library story. Amity is the author of 4 novels, Oh My Darling, The Folded World, Schroeder, and her most recent novel, Sea Wife, was just released in spring of 2020. Amity is a Fulbright Fellowship winner and in 2016 was awarded a Guggenheim Fellowship for fiction. The longtime visiting writer at Amherst College, Amity currently teaches creative writing at Yale.
Hi, I'm Amity Gaige, and I'm so happy to have a chance to praise libraries, especially the Hartford Public Library. I was lucky to have a chance to speak to the American Librarian Association in Philadelphia this last winter to publicize my new book, Sea Wife, that was just published. And my mother, when she heard that I was invited to the conference, sent me a long list of things I was supposed to say, mostly anecdotes about how libraries are important to us and how they relate to our personal family history. And I said, Mom, I only get a couple minutes to talk about my book, to publicize my book. And she said, okay, well, just tell them one thing, which is that your mother was a librarian when she was pregnant with you. And that's why you're a writer. I started training to become a citizenship coach at the American Place program at the Hartford Library. In the winter of 2020, this past winter, the goal was to become a tutor for people who are trying to pass their citizenship test and their naturalization interview. I came in and was so inspired by the students in the class who were studying for their citizenship test. They were so enthusiastic, kind, and warm. I've been thinking about those people a lot during this period of time, and I've been thinking about all the roadblocks really that they had before the pandemic, to what they wanted. The difficulty of the test, the transportation to class, the huge fee to pay for the processing of fee for their naturalization, which just went up, is about to go up 82% to over $1,000, all these things. And I thought, in the end, I was like, you know what, this pandemic's not going to stop them. That immigrants are used to roadblocks and they're survivors. And it sort of made me happy to know that they had a place at the library. The library was going to be there for them on the other side of this. And apparently, I guess Zoom classes have now resumed, which is amazing.
Bridging the digital divide is definitely a big part of what UMedia is about. What inspired me to be a mentor as I started here at UMedia was I wanted to find a space where I could bring together my love for photography and just art in general, and my passion for serving my community and particularly serving young people. I'm from Hartford, so I wanted to make sure that I came back and provided something back to the young people as somebody had provided for me.
Nigel really opened the doors for me, and at first he saw that I liked it. He saw that I was paying attention to him doing it and stuff like that. So he'll try to sit me down, but I was still in the mindset of what am I doing here? I don't know what to do yet. Every time he see me, he'll be like, hey Dom, come here. You want to see what I'm doing now? And he'll make it cool. I would shoot videos, I would take pictures, and I just felt alive.
The thing about UMedia is that it is a lot more one-on-one as opposed to myself with 20 students. And I like that because it's personal. I get to know the students. I also get to know what they want. So I might have a lesson plan and I might need to tweak it so that it's personal to them.
I can get technology here that I can't get anywhere else. I was notified that there was a position for an internship, and so I interviewed. I met Mike, I met Nigel, and other people from the library, and it was pretty exciting, all this technology. So that's how I got to where I am right now.
One of my favorite things about UMedia is the fact that our mentorship goes beyond the walls of UMedia, right? Goes beyond these windows and these doors. We've even talked about how to help young folks apply for grants that will help them to push their interests, in art further, or to help them get into school and to pursue their goals as far as education or careers.
I'm really interested in the future. I think it's the most important part of our lives, and the future is here.
You just saw, once again, why the Hartford Public Library truly is a place like no other, and why we are so blessed to have the Hartford Public Library team in our city. For those extraordinary young people to have access to that kind of technology, to those resources, is an incredible thing. Beyond all that the Hartford Public Library has done to help bridge the digital divide and increase connectivity and access to technology, Hartford Public Library has also stayed rooted in its core mission, which is being a convening place, being a place where folks can come in and access knowledge, whether through a book or a computer, and beyond that, being a leader in lifting up our entire community. Because we want to make sure that the Hartford Public Library can continue to deliver the kind of services that has made it a national leader among public libraries. So thank you for your support already. Whatever you can do will make such a difference. We're so grateful for your support. Stay healthy, stay safe, God bless, and go Hartford.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marlene Ibsen from Travelers. Thanks to all of you for your support of the Hartford Public Library. And Wally, your support as a giant in literature speaks volumes. Travelers has been a longtime supporter of the library, not just because of the obvious virtues of any library, reading, literacy, books, and other resources, but because the Hartford Public Library occupies a unique and powerful place in our community. It's a gathering place, a gateway to other organizations, museum passes anyone, an enabler of citizenship, and a place where you can get a passport to explore the world someday. Thank you, Bridget and Greg, for your leadership, and thank you to the entire HPL team for the deep and positive impact you are having. It is truly beyond words.
The Career Pathway Initiative is designed to build skill sets. So we start with digital literacy, which is critical into the workplace. We use the National Restaurant Association Serve Safe training program. We build skill sets in customer service, as well as working with the American Job Center, where they do their resumes, job search, interviewing skills. We also have an internship program that we work with the Hartford school system so that they can get some experience before they're actually employed.
My name is Donna. I'm from St. Lucia. Hartford Public Library Food Server Program is very good for anyone who wants to work in the food industry. My dream job is to open my own restaurant one day. So for the library, I get all that help, so I am grateful. Now I'm encouraging people to do the program so that one day they too can have the same dream I have.
When you see the value and quality of life that people can get from this program, it's really very rewarding and satisfying to me. So I'm excited to be a part of this program and a part of the Hartford Public Library.
And now, a word from our very special guest, the legendary Norman Lear.
Hi, I'm Norman Lear here, and I love that I've been asked to say something about the Hartford Public Library. I was born in New Haven and raised in Hartford, attended Weaver High School, and enjoyed the hell out of the Hartford Public Library. It was there that I found my favorite, perhaps my favorite book of essays anyway, Ralph Waldo Emerson's Self-Reliance. I'll never forget the day I found that because I read a bit of Self-Reliance in the library. By the time I walked out, I was just, felt like a different person. I had grown up or something. But my memory is so keen about the joy and fulfillment I felt at the Hartford Public Library.
Well, it's truly been a year like no other. We're so very grateful for all the generous support we've received so far and hope to continue to receive throughout 2021. Thank you, Wally, for helping me host this very special virtual event and for making it so special for our supporters.
Oh, my pleasure, Bridget, and I hope that we don't have another year like this one.
Me too, and it's always great to spend time with you.
You too, thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for giving.
Thank you for caring.
Thank you for making a difference.
Gracias por hacer la diferencia.
Thank you for making a difference.